What led you, I guess, to start to reconsider some of your positions on trans people?
Well, you definitely played probably the biggest role in that, to be completely honest.
Oh, thank
Because,
you.
yeah, I know you just wanted to hear me say it, but um, what happened was you actually got me in like a really good time for our first debate. Um, and I know we kind of chatted privately. I kind of explained this, but I'll explain it for the viewers
Yeah,
too.
please.
Basically, what happened was, uh, I mean, we had me and my then girlfriend got pregnant unplanned. I've gone into talked a little bit about this too on my channel, so
Yeah.
don't get too excited, guys. I'm not giving you that much of an inside scoop, right? But
No pics of the
uh,
process?
no, no pics of the process. But it was a very, very stressful time, as you can imagine. I mean, for me, like having a child at the age of 22, 23 was like the furthest thing from like anything I could even conceivably want for myself at the time. So like when we found out that we were pregnant, I'll be honest, I did not react with even an ounce of like maturity or dignity. I
Yeah.
like lost my shit because for me, I was like, this is the furthest thing from what I wanted.
Yeah.
Right. And so this was a very long, very stressful process. It led to a lot of very bad decisions on my part, which basically led me to break up with my girlfriend. Huge mess, huge disaster. And it was a terrible mistake. Basically, it was a long, long process, but we then had the baby and things really started turning around for me. I realized how wrong I was to end my relationship with Carissa, which thankfully we are now married and everything is okay. But it was just a big mess. And having a baby, having Rose turn out to be hands down the best thing that's like ever happened to me. I mean, I talk to Chris about it all the time that like I am so, and there's a saying, it's very cheesy. Speaking of Tumblr, cheesy little Tumblr
Hit
quote,
it
but
up.
I
Hit it
really,
up.
it was, I'm so glad I didn't get what I thought I wanted. And that's kind of what happened with me is when you challenged me to the debate was right around the time where I realized I was like, I'm still in love with Carissa and having a baby is absolutely amazing. And I've made a mistake to have broken up with her and we need to get back together, basically. So that was the first. I mean, for months and months and months on end, I had convinced myself that having a baby wasn't what I wanted. This was a disaster for me, and that the best move was to break up and try and like make amends, not being in a relationship. And it was just a huge stressful decision. I didn't know what to do, but I had convinced myself that this was the right decision. And it turned out not only to be the wrong decision, but to be like catastrophically incorrect. It's to the point where like I didn't have a choice but to reflect what else in my life have I been completely wrong about? Because I was so confident that breaking up that was the right decision, and that turned out to be the worst fucking decision I've ever made. So that kind of led me to start thinking, and even though it was much more subconscious, but it definitely forced me to start reconsidering, like, I was so wrong on this. What else am I so wrong on? And that was around the same time that you were kind of like getting kind of big on YouTube. You had done a couple videos on my older content.
Yes,
So that's
I
when
was yelling at you impotently from across the the YouTube wilderness.
Right. Right. And it's actually funny too. So like Carissa has always been a little bit more of like, I wouldn't even call her a liberal. I would call her like center to left more so. Like, so she's always been a little bit more like left, like she's had more of like a left leaning approach on things. So what I did, and this is when me and Carissa, we were still like apart, but it was obviously moving back into a good direction. I sent her the videos you made on me. And I was like, you need to watch this. We got to figure out how to do a response to this. And she was watching it. And basically by like the mid to the end, she would text me like, are you sure you don't want to remove this video, Hunter? Because she was basically just like, she was like, Vaush is making some pretty good points here. And so that's basically, I then challenged you to respond to some of my newer content, which my newer content was still pretty bad. And that all led to us debating. And then I admit that I lost that debate
Which,
when we
well, by the
debated.
way, one of the best I've ever had. It's a shame. I have to say it's a shame for me to peak early because the degenerates that I have been arguing with in the 6 months since then have I am missing the good old days, Hunter. I will not lie.
Yeah, no, I understand. I understand. But after that debate, it just sort of left me in a place where I was like, what do I do? I can't just ignore data that I've seen that kind of contradicts my viewpoints, but also I'm sort of like famous for being conservative. So I was like, what do I do? Basically, at that point, from that point on, I just started watching your content more. And I watched the first video I watched from your of you was you responding to Red Ice TV, which was honestly a really good starting point for me because I was able to see very quickly, okay, this is something I don't align with. I don't like this whole whites, like the whites are superior approach that they were taking. And I was picking up on the nuance too. I was like, yeah, this is actually kind of fucked up. So from that point on, I did more research. I did continue to watch your content, and there are still some things that I don't agree with you on. Or maybe that
I don't doubt it. I'm farther to the left than a lot of left-leaning people are comfortable with. It's that's probably a good thing, honestly.
Right. I mean, and that's the thing is like, I always want to continue to form my own opinions based on, what I have researched. But it was just, it's basically just all last year. I was kind of just transitioning, not no pun intended.
No, we know. Don't worry.
But yeah, I mean that just kind of really like jump started the push and made me start really analyzing some of the opinions I held. And it was funny too because you said some shit that I at the time was like, yeah, this fucking liberal doesn't know anything. You told me that I've probably cultivated a lot of bigotry that I would be uncomfortable with. And at first I didn't really believe that, but honestly, especially after I had my really public like falling out with the alt-right, that became so apparent to me. And part of me, like, this sounds a little sappy and a little cheesy, especially if some of my fans are watching. They're probably gonna be like, "Oh my god!" But part of me did feel a little guilty because I was like, I never fully went down the Nazi path, thank God. But I was definitely really close on a few positions, which I would actually like to talk to you about that on the stream too. But after I saw the response to my videos and people who were like, I used to be a fan of yours, Hunter, but the Jews have you now, or something. I was like, what if I like created? What if I cultivated? And I don't think that I was necessarily, I don't want to go as far as to say I was radicalizing people to be alt-right, but I think that I was, for a long time, creating a bit of a safe space for people like that to sort of hang out and feel comfortable.